The chair recognizes the honourable member for Central and South Abaco.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is my honor to humbly stand here in this great house on behalf of Central and South Abaco to speak on the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Bill 2022. Madam Speaker, before I get into the debate on the bill, I must speak on what is on the mind of my fellow Abaconians. As I am not a poet with smooth words as other honorable members in this House, however, I would like to echo some of the honorable members' sentiments. Unchecked power in the hands of politicians and the mention of excessive spending of the people's money. The recent developments that have come to light of the debris management site in Treasure Key area in Great Abaco and the previous director of the DRA. It is a shame that when we needed help, real help, and true compassion, the duties looked to be neglected. More importantly, it is the historical and record-breaking waste of millions of dollars of the people's money as it comes to the contracts awarded and little oversight or checks and balances.
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Kalani.
I just want to clarify a few things for the member. The member is saying wasteful money in terms of debris management, Treasure Key especially. There are 4 debris sites. These sites, we would have gone out to international bidders, and they would have looked and assessed and determined the amount of debris in terms of tonnage or metric square yards, and we would have collected about 3.5 million square yards of debris. In the international market, they compared that with the same 3.5 that would have been collected in other jurisdictions, hurricane, and that would have cost a minimum of $98 million. Those are the assessments we would have gotten. We did it, cleaned up Abaco, for less than $40 million, when the international arena was saying $98 million minimum. I think we did an excellent job, considering the cost. We saved the country over $50 million. Now, the challenge that the member would have, we have collected, we are in what you would call Hurricane Alley, where we are exposed to hurricane yearly. And it may hit every year, every 2 years, every 3 years, we don't know. But they now must concentrate on collecting the debris that we had collected and put at dump sites and have it moved off the island. That was the next stage that had to be done. And if they don't do it, and hurricane strikes Abaco, there are going to be missiles flying around like God knows what.
Thank you, honourable member. The chair recognizes the honourable member for Central and South Abaco.
Thank you, sir. What I am particularly driven to speak about is when you look at the other sites, there is clear management and personnel on ground, including security and so on and so forth. This particular site had not. So the millions that I'm speaking about that is a waste of the people's money is the oversight and the checks and balances on such sites. But without further ado, I would like to just express that as this was going on, my beloved Abaco still struggles daily. These funds have been better spent and with some further oversight on particular debris management sites. But not to sit on this matter long, we're here to debate the BAMSI bill. So, Madam Speaker, I rise to speak a little bit about my take and my outlook on this particular bill at hand. The Bahamas is currently very vulnerable to food scarcity and shortages. Having personally felt food shortages after Hurricane Dorian due to the lack of shipping coming to the Abacos, many Abaconians saw firsthand how much we really rely on weekly imports. If it were not for our friends from abroad and other islands in the Bahamas coming to our aid, we would have had many go hungry. This has sparked interest in many Bahamians with their own backyard gardening and talking about farming once again. Our reliance on shipping imports was further confirmed during the COVID pandemic, when it was highlighted that shortages on the world stage directly relate to our food shortages at home. Many shelves have been left empty and products have been hard to come by, especially in the family islands where extra trips by freight are usually needed. It is common for out islanders to know what days the boats come in so that we can go to the grocery store and shop. Otherwise, they may not have the produce or items they usually the regular use. 1 week of bad weather affects the entire shipping fleet and in return limits what's available in stores. This should no longer be the case. Currently, the Bahamas expands and shrinks as a direct correlation to the American economy. This has led the Bahamas to a state of uncertainty when it comes to food security. Should there be a complete breakdown in shipping, there would be starvation in our country. This is something we must work on now to prevent. Madam Speaker, the Bahamas is reliant on tourism as our driving economic force, and the United States is by large our largest geographic group of visitors and our largest food importer. It is plain to see that we are exporting an enormous amount of our hard-earned revenue brought in by tourism directly out of our economy. We import more than $1 billion worth of food every year. A majority of this goes to feeding of our tourism-driven economy. Over $1 billion taking out of our economy every year and deepening our foreign trade deficit, which could be spent at home in our Bahama Islands. That money could and should remain at home, feeding and in the pockets of Bahamian families. Currently, this is an unsustainable approach to doing business in our country and an immediate threat to every Bahamian. It is also important to highlight that when our visitors come to the Bahamas, they are expecting to see our pristine environment, the smell of our salt sea, and eat local Bahamian cuisine. Without a consistent output of food grown in our country, it is difficult and almost impossible to rely on locally grown products. We must build our local farmers, animal husbandry, to the point where it is not only easy, but it is the best way for tourism institutes to purchase their food. This can be done by assisting our local farmers with funding, education, on new techniques in marketing, incentives, and access to supplies. However, there is currently a lack of connection between the local food production community and the hospitality industry. Every hotel, every restaurant, and even weekly rentals should have access to purchase locally. Our visitors should see at their tables Bahamian-made hot sauces, jellies, and jams instead of Smuckers and Tabasco. Our advertised chicken from our very own Abaco Big Bird Farms. This is what our visitors desire, and we have many very talented Bahamians that create amazing homemade products. Homemade is the beginning to big business. You look around the world, some of the largest companies in this world were started in a garage or in a backyard. Connecting those Bahamians to everyday business in the hospitality industry is key. Also, giving these Bahamians knowledge and a means to meet high quantity orders is how we may also assist in maintaining that relationship. We must give the hospitality industry incentive to purchase locally and inform them of what is available. Madam Speaker, now, more than ever, the Bahamas is positioned to take the advantage of growing food trends of eating locally, eating healthy, and knowing where the food comes from. The farm-to-table trend is growing worldwide. The ability to serve native dishes with local ingredients is immensely important. There is no reason why every conch salad made in the Bahamas can't be made with local tomatoes, sweet peppers, onions, and sour. The benefits of local farms is seen in many ways. Such a higher quality in produce because they are harvested at their peak. So when produce is harvested at their peak, that is when the best nutrition is there. It does not have to undergo long periods of shipping. You know, the restaurants and hotels can order as needed and not store cases for long periods of time, reducing shipping costs and limiting shipping delays. Farmers can also sell excess produce with farm stands to sell directly to consumers and visitors for added income. Visitors love visiting, our tourism visitors love visiting roadside stands for fresh pepper jellies, locally grown fruits, as it adds to the overall charm and experience. We have many locally grown items here that they don't see at home, such as goat peppers, sapodillies, cocoa plum, sea grape, hog plum, and so on and so forth. Juju. You know, agro-tourism is a trend currently catching on worldwide attention. Mixing tourism with our agriculture and marine industry is a mixed opportunity for us in the Bahamas. Some farms like Abaco have started to create this by providing tours and soon cabin weekly rentals on their farms. Tours of the South Bahamas salt fields is another agro-tourism business missed opportunity. Bringing tourism directly to the farmers is another avenue we must look into expanding. Knowledge is key. Helping these Bahamians expand what they dream of or what they're already doing is key. Niche markets is another opportunity. So we may not only provide another product nationally, but possibly export. Abaco neem concentrates mainly on highly medicinal neem tree oil in their products. Many visitors enjoy purchasing their products and bringing it back home with them as exports. That shrinks our trade deficit. With proper funding, incentives, and great marketing, our Long Island, Ragged Island, and Rum Cay Pure Sea Salt is a product that should be readily sold nationwide and exported due to its high quality. Our farmers have many avenues they can concentrate on and potentially export to even a wider market. Being an archipelago, logistics can be problematic and expensive. Having local farms would greatly shorten the farm-to-table timeline and lower costs considerably. Shortening this timeline also creates better product in regards of taste and quality. Fresh is best. These savings will not only help the local restaurants and hotels, but also help local farmers to expand and increase their productivity and output. With training, education, access to subsidies and grants, Bahamians throughout our great nation can considerably decrease dependency on imports and not have to rely solely on ships from abroad to feed our children. No longer will we have to wait for shipments or experience delays because of weather in order to feed our families or visitors. Madam Speaker, education is key to our food security. And the honorable member from Central and South Eleuthera is leading the way in this. BAMSI will be setting the path to self-reliance and economic growth. Currently, The agriculture impact to our GDP is in the single-digit percentage. Places like Andros, Abaco, Grand Bahamas, as well as other islands, have the land and water to produce what we need nationwide. With new technologies such as vertical growing, hydroponics, aquaponics, aquaculture, and much more, we can grow and produce food on every island. Given the proper help that BAMSI will bring, husbandry and the economy will grow with new opportunities in agriculture, animal husbandry, and marine resources. Teaching our youth in schools about new farming techniques, such as aquaponics and hydroponics, will spark interest of future farmers. Every school in the Bahamas should have at least have a school garden and a program for those interested young Bahamians to explore potential future career paths. Madam Speaker, with the renewed Bahamas Agriculture Marine Science Institute, a PLP initiative, and now renewed by this PLP administration, we can and we will be more self-reliant. Not only self-reliant, but again, be an exporter to the world. Bahamians will be at the front of this new economy. This Davis Cooper administration puts Bahamians first and our next generations, our future, foremost. Central and South Abaco supports the BAMSI 2022, and this is the way forward for our food security and national interests. I'd like to thank Madam Speaker. I want to thank my fellow Abaconians for allowing me to stand here in this great house. And God bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.